want me to go over here?
So Jack Chambers, this was your debut in the MX2 World Championship.
Yep.
How did you find it?
It was very interesting. Never riding a Kawasaki before this weekend, or this past week. I flew over on Sunday night, landed Monday morning, rode the bike on Tuesday and a little bit on Wednesday, put an hour on the bike, and we made the decision to go straight racing. So
I think based on the second moto and pretty much your speed all weekend, I think it was a good decision to go straight racing.
Yeah. I definitely feel like my speed second moto showed a little bit more of what I have. Struggled a little bit in the first moto. I maybe a little bit of nerves. Tightened up a little bit in the middle there, but ended strong, passing a couple guys on the last lap. But yeah, I really didn't have any goals coming into this weekend. It's more just get experience and have fun. And I'm in Switzerland right now racing my dirt bike, so I could be back home, just sitting on my couch because this weekend I didn't have a race. So
yeah, well, Americans seem to be very comfortable at home, and maybe you wouldn't have been the first one to turn a ride like this down. But when Dixon got in touch with you, was it a no-brainer for you to come here, or what was the reasons behind coming?
The biggest reason is I trust my trainer, Zach Osborne.
Yeah, I know Zach.
And he said it would be a good opportunity for me. He listed all the positives, he listed all the negatives, and even with some of the negatives he listed, I still was like, I want to go do this for myself and give myself a year. Maybe it's just this season. Maybe after this season I get something else, but that's not really what I'm looking at right now. I'm taking it weekend by weekend and week by week in training and getting more comfortable on the bike. With only 3 days, I feel like I performed decently well for myself. Felt really balanced on the bike. I made a couple clicker adjustments on the suspension. They got it as close as they could before I came over here, and I kind of just went out and rode.
And it's not only getting comfortable in the Kawasaki. I mean, you were racing Supercross a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is a whole different world. How did you find it out there in that type of track? Very old school.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I tore my ACL in June last year at the third round of Outdoors. And prior to Outdoors, we only have 1 weekend off from Supercross. Yeah, exactly. So I raced the whole Supercross season, 1 weekend off, and you'd ride into Outdoors. So I guess you can say I'm used to that from last year. But I hadn't ridden Outdoors in 7 or 8 months. And I came straight off from the weekend in Detroit after the main. And started that week on Outdoors, and then I flew out Sunday. So
quick turnaround.
Very, very quick turnaround. Learning a new bike, being in a different country, sometimes having to communicate with people that don't speak your language. Lucky enough, my team is an English team, so that was easy to communicate what I needed, what I want, anything I need changed. So yeah, it was definitely a positive weekend. The number results may not show what I'm fully capable of, but it's first round, and I think we have 15 or 16 rounds left.
Plenty of racing.
So plenty of racing, plenty of time to gain experience, and plenty of time to just every weekend get better and better and better.
And obviously you're in America, you're very busy racing in America. Do you follow the World Championship at all? Have you heard of many of these guys you were lined up against this weekend?
To be completely honest, no. Half of them I can't pronounce their last names, so or even their first. But with that said, I have a respect for these guys, prior to coming here, may not know who they are, but if they're racing this series and they're going to do the whole series, they probably know what they're doing on a dirt bike. So to be out there and battling with kids yesterday or on Saturday, like Liam Everts, I've actually seen plenty of videos of him. He was kind of like the prodigy coming up. So just like in America we have like the Ryder D's and Jet Reynolds and people like that. So I was never one of those kids. So I kind of have just always had to just work my butt off for everything I've earned, and never really just got given an opportunity or a chance to prove myself. So I feel like this is kind of one. And I wouldn't say I proved myself this weekend because it's the first round, and I'm not too stoked on the number results. But with the way I rode, only a couple days on the bike, I felt pretty comfortable.
And just on your trainer, Zach Osborne, what sort of things did he tell you about GPs? And obviously, I think you're friends with Jet Lawrence, isn't that right?
Yep.
Did you speak to him? Obviously, he raced DMX and watched his brother race GPs as well.
Oh yeah, I got a bit of advice from Jet. He had been over here a good bit. Actually, the day I left, me and my buddy and Jet went and had some breakfast and kind of talked about everything. I'll be gone for 7 months. So, but yeah, the biggest thing with Zach was just don't get in my head about the other riders and just stay as calm as I can. And it's going to be hectic. It's new. I was late to free practice. Like I didn't know the schedule. I don't know how early to get up there. He told me, but you can only be told once and then you'll learn. So. You can only be told a million times, but once you do it wrong, you learn from it. So I was early to the motos today. We got up there in time, and but yeah, there's so much. I've talked to him probably 3 or 4 different times today. He's proud of me. He told me that, so that makes me feel good. My parents are happy. That's always good to be leaving the track and not going scratching our heads like what just happened. That happened a lot this season in Supercross. And that kind of honestly just needed a change from the negative weekends. Mentally before the season, I put myself top 12 in Supercross. Every weekend I should have been. But we can sit here and say shoulda, coulda, woulda all day long. I wasn't. And the change that I needed, I didn't know until this opportunity came up. So here we are.
And Zach obviously knows Europe well. Are you hoping he'll maybe come and join you at a few GPs? And second of all, how did you find the level of the MX2 World Championship? The guys at the front are fast.
Yeah. Well, first Zach, I'm pretty sure he's coming over in August to stay in UK. So I'm not sure what rounds he'll be able to come to. He has his own series. He's going to be racing with the off-road now that he's doing. Yep. So, but yeah, the level of the guys. I was actually just talking to somebody else about it too. It's hard to gauge. I know so many guys back in US, their names and what they've done in amateurs, and that kind of sets the bar for them. How good they are, how good they've been. And here, I don't know these guys, so I don't know what they've done and their road to get here and stuff like that. Everybody's got their own story, and I've got mine. So I'm hoping to make the end result of this story that I'm trying to create.
And are you looking forward to travelling all around the world? Obviously, Switzerland. What did you think of Zurich? It's my first time in Zurich as well, actually. Yep. So I've got that in common with you. And obviously, you'll go to Italy now. And are you looking forward to travelling all around Europe and all around the world?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a good experience, and that's probably one of the reasons why I came over here. I'm going to live on my own in England without my parents. I've met a couple friends that are going to help out. My teammate Courtney as well. She's been doing this a long time, three-time champ, so she knows what she's doing. But yeah, just the experience. Living without my parents, doing this on my own, making my own food, preparing for the week. Laundry, all this stuff that a lot of people in U.S. have girlfriends, wives, or family members to do that for them, which I did back home. So that'll be different, but that's a lot of the reason why I'm here. Gain the experience with not only the riding, but to be a better person. And life for a lot of guys is just racing, and I would say a lot of it is for me. But the whole outlook on it is to have fun and better yourself every chance you can get.
You're obviously going to race the MX2 GPs. Has there been any discussion to do any national races, maybe British Championship? I feel like that would be quite good for you. There's a guy called Isaac Gifting. Yep. You could maybe run with him.
Yeah. I don't know right now. Honestly, my goal right now is just to get to next weekend. So after next weekend, we have a little bit of a break, so we can kind of figure out what our plan is and everything. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Perfect.